Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to another SolarWinds briefing for 2020. Delighted that you can join us today. We do appreciate your time. Okay, so let's get straight into it. My name is John O'Callaghan and I look after international product marketing for SolarWinds. I'm based in our Cork, Ireland office and delighted to be joined today by my esteemed colleague Evgeny Bykov. Evgeny, how are you keeping today?
Not bad, not bad. How are you?
Very good, very good. And of course, as you can see on the right hand side there, today we're going to talk around SolarWinds and Dell Technologies. Of course, Dell, very prevalent across many, many organizations around the world. So we're going to look at where we can support and monitor, manage, analyze their environments and help organizations get to that kind of single pane of glass solution. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free, I should say, to use the Q&A or the chat box to send any questions you have, and we'll do our best to answer those by the end of the event. If you're currently using SolarWinds technology, we would love to get your feedback on that. You can do that either through a review, so you can put reviews up on TrustRadius, which is our go-to review site, or Gartner Peer Insights is another one. If you want to give us direct feedback, you can also go to the SolarWinds TWAC online community, and you can sign up, register there, and join over 150,000 other users on that community. We have some nice features in there, so a great place to get information on our solutions. Also, a great place to ask questions. You can also engage with the community and download templates and things that other customers have created around the world. It's kind of like a big file share, basically. And also, you can put in feature requests. So if you're using a SolarWinds piece of software and you would like it to do an additional feature, have additional features, you can put those feature requests in to the product forums in the SolarWinds TWAC community. Then other people will vote on those features, and if the feature gets lots of votes, who knows, you might be the genesis of a new feature in the SolarWinds product going forward. If you want to have a one-to-one demonstration, or if you want to engage your team with SolarWinds on a demonstration of any of the technologies we go through today, please feel free to request that, and we will organize that at a time suitable for you. Okay, just to kick things off, we've got a simple poll here because today we're talking about Dell Technologies. Just a simple question there. What Dell technology do you use today in your organization? So obviously they're very popular for the client, the laptop and desktops and so on. I'm not sure if they're leading the market, Evgeny, at the moment. They're always battling with HP on the server side in terms of market share, but they're certainly a very large percentage. Of course, they have the Dell networking solutions and the storage solutions. You can include EMC in there as well. So if you're using Clarion or Unity or VMAXes or any other EMC technologies, you can throw that in there as well. Obviously, VMware is in the mix because EMC acquired VMware way back in 2005, and of course, Dell Technologies acquired EMC. Was it 2-3 years ago now? I'm not exactly sure the dates on it, but it's all part of the one company now. And of course, VCE is another element in there. So if you're using any converged technologies like the vBlock series, you can throw that in. And if you're using any of the Dell software, you can also put that in there. Okay, so basically, I'll let that run there for a minute and we'll get into the content and we can come back to it. So the theme of today is, powerful IT operations management. So SolarWinds as an organization is very much now a full IT operations management portfolio, which we'll look at in a second. And we're going to look at that specifically in the Dell Technologies environments. Okay, so here's a simple kind of framework we put together actually at the beginning of this year to help our end users, our customers, anybody out there kind of looking at IT operations management, and also for our partner community around the world, of course, to kind of get just a very simple and good understanding of what the SolarWinds offering to the marketplace is. As you can see there, we have 6 major pillars within the offering. At the top there, the blue one is the service management. So deliberately not called IT service management because service requests can come from any part of the business. So we kind of made it a general term of service management because we want to make sure we can capture as many as possible of the requests coming in. The 4 orange layers then, the horizontal layers there, are the typical IT stack. So at the very top you have application performance management. And of course, this is on the top because this is the one where if an application slows down or degrades or fails, typically it's the most visual one and the one that gets escalated really, really quickly. Of course, applications have been changing over the last decade or so. We had traditional packaged applications. We had in-house developed applications using traditional software cycles of maybe 18 months or 2 years sometimes. And then, of course, we had the advent of the SaaS application, where organizations were saying, oh, I don't want to build or buy an application, I just want to buy the service, and I don't want to worry about any infrastructure that the application may be running on. And of course, the latest thing now is the kind of custom apps, as we talk about them in relation to kind of mobile applications, taking data from legacy systems, putting it through some middleware, and presenting it out in some new fancy mobile device in order to access more customers or more geographic regions and so on. So there's kind of really 4 types of applications. The good news is SolarWinds has solutions now across all of those types of applications. Of course, many applications are going to rely on databases, and again, the database market has been been shaken up over the last number of years. We had the traditional relational databases coming from the likes of Oracle, Microsoft SQL, of course. You had DB2, SAP ASE, which was formerly Sybase, PostgreSQL, etc. And of course, we have all the kind of newer ones out there now, the MongoDBs, the Redis, and so on, which are all typically NoSQL databases, and there's some open source ones in there as well. So lots of new activity on the database front. And again, SolarWinds has a complete offering there to cover both the traditional SQL ones and also the newer NoSQL type database as well. We'll probably focus mainly today on the infrastructure and the network, because that's where Dell typically sit. So infrastructure is going to cover physical servers, virtual hosts, virtual machines, enterprise storage arrays, network storage devices, etc. And then on the network side, of course, Dell are also involved in the whole switch business and so on. And then on the right-hand side, you have IT security, and of course, this will also come into play because we have a SIEM solution that can take logs and analyze them from Dell devices, as well as many other vendor devices, of course. On the right-hand side, then you have our customer base. So typically, our traditional customers are the administrator level, so your IT administrator, your network admin, system admin, DBAs, storage admins, etc. Of course, if people have more than one product and they build out a platform solution, then typically that decision will go up to IT management. And if people take all of this framework as a strategic approach to IT operations management, then we're up to the kind of CIO, CTO level in terms of decision making. The other thing that's been obviously growing rapidly in the last number of years is the cloud and the hybrid IT environments. So not only can we monitor on-premise and cloud environments, we can also now deploy many of our solutions both on-premise and also in the cloud as well. So that's just a handy little reference chart to give you an understanding of what SolarWinds does as a company. Okay, so let's get into the Dell side of things. And the first area we're just going to look at is the network side. Obviously, Dell have quite a lot of technology in the network side now as well. They obviously compete now with the likes of Cisco and Juniper and these type of organizations at this level, and typically going in with a cost advantage against those organizations. So SolarWinds, obviously our network management portfolio, the pillar, has lots of technologies which we can use to monitor, analyze and manage these devices. So whether it's looking at the performance of the network that the Dell systems are running on, whether it's looking at the network devices themselves, whether it's looking at the traffic that's running through these devices, or whether you're looking to having configuration management on these devices as well. Other kind of more generic ones then, like IP address management, user device tracking, an engineer's tool set can also help us to monitor, get a full zero gap monitoring, as I call it, for networking. Moving into the system side of things, obviously Dell are very, very popular in the server market. Of course, their systems will also be supporting applications and databases, so we have a number of products here that can help monitor these. So Server and Application Monitor, as the name suggests, can monitor any type of application essentially. If it's custom apps, so we talk about the Agile and DevOps type of things, we have another product which is a SaaS offering called AppOptics, which would be more suitable for those ones. But if it's kind of traditional packaged applications, SaaS applications, or applications deployed in the cloud, then Server and Application Monitor can do a great job. Any databases sitting on those servers or on storage devices, we can also monitor those using Database Performance Analyzer. And of course, we also have server configuration monitoring as well to make sure we can track any changes made to files or systems in the server world. And that's also just added in the database configuration change as well, which is cool. Okay, and then of course we have the virtualization piece, which is very large, of course, given the VMware part of the business. And we have Virtualization Manager, one of my favorite products in the portfolio because it allows us to actually manage VMware estates and also, of course, Hyper-V and Nutanix from a SolarWinds console. And you can see there some of the key things we can do there, optimization of the environment, we can do recommendations, we have VM sprawl management, and we can kind of adjust the resources applied to virtual machines on the fly in our environment. And then, of course, in the storage side of things, Dell have a very large storage business now, having acquired EMC a number of years ago. And we have Storage Resource Monitor to help organizations to monitor those as well. And then for fiber channel switches, then we have Network Performance Monitor coming in from our network side of things again to monitor those fiber channel switches as well. More generically then, we have IT security solutions. So we have Security Event Manager, which is a SIEM solution. So that can collect and centralize logs and analyze and normalize them. Any logs coming from Dell devices can be collected as long as those devices are set up as nodes on the system. Patching, of course, people are patching systems all the time, whether it's software or systems itself, and we can help with our Patch Manager solution. And also access rights management, because a lot of Dell systems are going to be managing things like file systems, Exchange environments, Active Directory, user permissions, and Access Rights Manager can help organizations to clean all that up, automate it, and help with kind of onboarding, offboarding, user provisioning, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, configuration management for compliance as well, using Network Configuration Manager as well. So they're all in the kind of security area. And then finally on the stack, the IT Service Management, we have SolarWinds Service Desk, and we also have Web Help Desk. So our Orion system can create alerts, obviously, and those alerts coming from Dell devices can be forwarded automatically, or the actions, depending on the alert severity, can be sent to SolarWinds Service Desk. It can also go to organizations like ServiceNow and other third-party help desk solutions as well. And we'll have a look at that towards the end of the session. Before we get to that, I'm just going to hand control over to Evgeny, and Evgeny's going to bring us through some of the key solutions that we have within the Dell world. So I'm going to hand the presentation rights over to him there.
Yeah, so on this publicly available demo site which we have, there are some examples of what we can offer for Dell Technologies. So on the networking side, for example, we can see an example of Dell switch, and talking about Sonic walls. We also have an example of a Sonic wall here, network security appliance. In terms of wireless, I'm not sure that we have Focus available right now as an example. We just mentioned it right here. Yeah, so it's mentioned here, but I don't think that we have an example of the access point of the controller from this vendor at the moment. Anyway, so talking about network devices, as John already mentioned, our headliners in network monitoring and management, such as Network Performance Monitor, allow you to monitor availability and performance of your Dell devices, network devices, collect information about the configuration and availability and performance. So you can quickly go, like in this case, we can go to the vital stats of this Dell switch, and we can see the response time and packet loss. We also collect information about the flow export from this device, so we can see the flow information right here on these customizable charts as well. Same goes for interfaces, so we monitor performance of the interfaces of this switch, and we can see the traffic details. Well, this is not a very active device, so it's mostly in zero here. But I suppose, yeah, you understand that that's what we can collect here. On the networking side, well, it's just similar to other devices. So if we can collect topology information from the device, like in this case, we can see that this switch is connected to the router and another device here over the ports, physical ports, and we can see the connection bandwidth, and we can see the actual interfaces which are parts of this connection. We also collect information about the VLANs configured on the network device, and talking about Network Configuration Manager, we can back up and compare, help you to compare configuration changes on the device. In this case, I can quickly see all the previously backed up configs, and I can edit them. I can push them back to the upload them back to the device, and I can also execute scripts on this particular device, or I can go to the generic Network Configuration Manager console and do the bulk pushes or bulk downloads or uploads of the configurations of these devices. I can also quickly check and compare previously downloaded configs or run the report, config change report over the specified time. Well, in this case, as I can see, there were no changes in the recent past for this device configuration. And also, Network Configuration Manager allows you to check the device configurations for policy violations. In this case, it could be your external or internal guidelines and policies on what kind of configuration is permitted on your devices, and if there are any policy violations found in the device configuration, they will be highlighted here. In this case, this device does not have any violations at the moment. Similar information, as you can see here, can be collected for Sonic walls as well. So I suppose we will not go into more details here. So this is the networking side. Now going to the next level, which we have here, I suppose it would be server configuration and server and application monitor. Let me just quickly pull up and find the example of the Dell server. As far as I remember, we should have some physical server hosting these virtual machines. Let me see whether or not this one is a Dell. Yeah, lucky shot. As you can see here, this is a Dell PowerEdge blade, and that's what Server and Application Monitor lets you collect from Dell blades, Dell servers. Here you can see the hardware health information which we collect from Dell, IBM, and HP servers. And this is a Dell example. So provided that you follow their requirements of Server and Application Monitor and install the Dell Open Manage agent on your Dell blade, then Sam can pull the server over WMI or SNMP and then collect the information about the status of physical components, hardware components of this server. So you can see information about the CPU status, memory modules, chassis temperature, power supply modules, and fan information as well. In addition to that, SAM allows you to collect asset inventory from your physical servers. In this case, you can see an example of for this blade. Again, it would be information about physical processes within this server, ILO information, memory module information. So you can see the model numbers, serial numbers, Windows update information, operating system information, and also in this case, since it's a virtual host, you can see all, you can quickly see all the virtual machine hosted on this host and quickly see information about these machines' configuration. And in this case, you can also see the network interfaces, logical volumes, storage controllers, physical disks attached, and so on and so forth. Drivers installed, operating system update installed. So all this information can quickly help you, I suppose, in troubleshooting, during troubleshooting of any problems happening with this server. And it also could be useful for historical purposes or for analysis purposes. And in this case, you can also monitor the server configuration changes. In this, this server only has two policies applied. In this case, profiles applied. It's hardware inventory and software inventory, but you can quickly expand it. Again, this is capability of Server Configuration Monitor module, and you can quickly see the mismatches between your previously configured and downloaded baseline and the current status. So in this case, if I go to hardware inventory, I will see that in this case, probably some drivers were updated, or freshly installed. And in another case, for software inventory, it would probably be again, version of some products updated, so operating system updates. Yeah, exactly. So software installed. If I click on it, I see exactly what was installed from the registry in this case. In this example, it's not a freshly installed software; it's just updated software which was previously installed. But I can quickly compare all the previously downloaded baselines and other configurations between each other and see the specific dates, versions, or specific baseline numbers. So that's what we have, I suppose, from the server and application monitor and server configuration monitor point of view. Now go into virtualization. As John mentioned, since VMware now is a part of Dell, I suppose we can say that this could be also interesting for usual Dell customers, because most of them, at least many of them, would use VMware virtualization technologies in the environment. As John mentioned, we have a Virtualization Manager module, which allows you to collect information about your virtual environment. In this case, we can just directly pull the vCenters and discover all the configuration elements such as data centers, clusters, hosts, and guest machines configured on and managed by these vCenters. And then we can quickly drill down into the specific host level or specific guest level. And in addition to collecting historical information and helping you with right sizing and providing recommendations on how to best possibly use your virtual environment to save money on, I suppose, on unwanted or unneeded configurations and help you with minimizing wasting resources, your virtual resources. This module also allows you to perform some management on your virtual machines. For example, you can quickly manually power off or power on a VM. You can suspend it or reboot it. You can take snapshots, delete snapshots, and change CPU memory resources just from the central Orion web console. Again, allowing you to save time instead of switching between different tools when you essentially managing and monitoring your infrastructure using our Orion modules. So it could be quite helpful in terms of managing your virtual environment as well. And this is host details. So this is not a Dell, but you would see similar information provided for Dell host as well. And in terms of other useful capabilities of Virtualization Manager, I would also repeat what John said. It has a very powerful recommendations engines. So it analyzes all the historical information it collects about performance of your guest and host machines. And after a certain time, by default, we usually recommend to collect this historical data for about 2-3 weeks at least, in order to see very useful recommendations. And then the product provides you recommendations in a very straightforward and understandable way. So it tells you specifically what's happening. Like in this case, you are running out of space on a specific data store, and the product shows you exactly the statistics it's used to come to this conclusion, and then it gives you a recommendation. So in this case, it recommends you to move one of the VMs from one data store to another especially even out the space on these data stores. And it tells you what will happen after you did that. So essentially, your data store, which is running out of space, will get an additional 30% of free space. And another data store, which is currently almost empty, will just be bumped up in terms of use storage by 50%. You can perform these recommendations right now, just by clicking apply the recommendation. But obviously, in many production environments, you would want to perform these actions during the maintenance windows. So we allow you to schedule these recommendations and basically set date and time, which would fit into your maintenance window, and the product will perform these changes on your environment during the scheduled time. And as we already mentioned before, sprawl information is similar to recommendations, but it just, I suppose, tells you the slightly different side of the story. So in this case, it quickly shows you and filters out the top under-allocated resources and over-allocated resources. So you can quickly see which VMs don't have enough vCPU or memory power and which VMs have too much CPU or memory power. And also it shows you the VMs by snapshot disk usage and allows you to quickly delete unwanted snapshots because, again, as we all know, on VMware side, too many snapshots not only take your storage space, it also affects the performance of the virtual machines very much. So you should be aware of certain guest machines with too many created snapshots, and usually you would be you would need to clean up the snapshots which are not wanted anymore. And same goes for idle VMs and powered off VMs. So in this case, idle VMs are the virtual guest machines which are not using too many, like again under 1% of CPU and memory. In most cases, it would indicate that these virtual machines are not being used by anybody, but since they are still taking resources, we would recommend them to power off. And again, you can do it right away from the Virtualization Manager console. And if the VMs are powered off for more than 30 days, the product also bubbles up this information because, again, it indicates that nobody uses these machines, but they still take storage. So maybe you would want to delete them and free up the resources for other users in your environment. And Virtualization Manager also has a very good capacity planning reporting. In this case, it allows you to simulate, well, first of all, see what's happening on your clusters right now, but also it allows you to simulate adding additional load and adding additional resources to your clusters and see what would happen in terms of the CPU memory and storage on your cluster if you add this additional load or add this additional computing power. And again, it shows you this information in a simple way. It shows you specifically a chart in the table specifying that if you, like in this case, add more load to your existing cluster, you will run out of computing CPU power right now. You will run out of memory right now, but you still have a lot of storage available. So this report allows you to, well, in this case, you can just print it off and show it to your management to justify purchasing more resources, more computing power for your virtual environment. Next would be Storage Resource Manager, which allows you to monitor multiple disk arrays, storage arrays, and you can see multiple examples of Dell arrays, specifically Dell native arrays and EMC arrays shown here. And the information collected by SRM would be similar to all of these arrays. So we can, I suppose, go to the, let's say, EqualLogic as an example and quickly see what's collected by SRM. SRM, Storage Resource Monitor, essentially allows you to answer two questions: how your array is performing and how much space is being used and how much space you still have in your storage environment. So from the performance point of view, you can drill down into specific LAN, specific pool, or the whole array as a whole, and see information about these elements from the performance point of view. These are the metrics, performance metrics, which are collected, and you can see the historical information about these metrics, and you can see the logical element configuration details. In this case, this is a LAN, so I see the LAN details. Again, if I go to the array level, I will see array details. And as you can see here on the array level, I can see the aggregate performance metrics and aggregate capacity metrics. And two very useful dashboards which SRM has, again, similar to VMAN, it analyzes the performance and capacity information it collects, and after a certain amount of time, it filters out the biggest bottlenecks in your storage environment. Yeah, well, I suppose this is similar to what you have on the network side and application side as well, because most of the Orion modules have these top X widgets already built in for you, so you can quickly see the biggest bottlenecks in your environment from the networking point of view, or application point of view, or virtualization or storage point of view. So in this case, these are our storage bottlenecks. You can quickly see the object by performance risks. In this case, these LANs have very high latency, so somebody would need to drill down and analyze historically collected information to see what's happening there and what could be done to fix that. And on the excuse me, on the capacity dashboard, you can quickly see not only the current capacity of your storage elements, but also, again, after a certain amount of time, usually the project requires 2-3 weeks to collect and analyze historical information. It shows you the project that ran out. So it tells you specifically which elements will run out of space in which amount of time. So in this case, on our demo example, you can see numbers like more than 5 years, but it could be you are under threat from the capacity point of view right now, and maybe some of the elements will run out of capacity in a certain amount of days or weeks, which again allows you to run a specific report and show this information for management to justify the spending on storage upgrades. So I suppose I covered everything from the Orion side. Did I miss anything, John?
No, not at all. It was a very comprehensive overview, and it's a bit of a whirlwind tour because there's so many areas that we do work with the Dell Technologies. What I'll do is I'll just kind of finish things off and have a quick look at Service Desk over here, because what you've seen there with Evgeny is obviously all of the Orion modules and products that can help to monitor the complete end-to-end Dell technology estate. And if, of course, all of those modules can come with out-of-the-box alerts, or alerts can be customized, and they can go through the Orion alert engine. And those can be sent over to our own Service Desk, as well as ServiceNow and other ones. But this is just a view of Service Desk, and it's not just a help desk. There's lots of comprehensive service management capability in here. So you have incident management, you have problem management, you have change control, you have change catalogs, release management, solutions management, service catalogs, CMDB management. In the inventory side, you can have asset management for computer, software, printers, mobile devices, network devices, other assets, etc. And then you've got things like procurement management for contracts, POs, vendors, etc., and risk management and reporting. So fairly comprehensive service management capability. Just showing you here kind of an incident page, so I can show you an Orion incident coming in here. My go-to is number 468 because it's I know that's an Orion incident. So here we are. It's got a high response time on a network device. I don't think this is a Dell one. This is a Cisco device, but same idea. And you will have over here that it's assigned to networking. It's a critical event, and as you can see, it's come from the Orion platform here. When you dig into the incident itself, you can see that we have on the right-hand side SLA management capability as well. Now, this is not managed within the demo site, obviously, but the SLAs that we would typically manage in a real world would be the response time and also the resolution time. If there is a requirement for a technician to create a remote session to try and help fix the issue, then you can automatically link that into our own VMware Remote Everywhere solution as well, which is a SaaS-based offering. There's also VMware Remote Control, which is a license-based solution. You get more information on the alert itself, and just to show you how it kind of does the loop back. So if I click on this device here, it'll actually go to that device directly within the demo site, just to show you how it's a complete end-to-end capability. So here's the node details for that exact device that we've just had the alert on, and you can see that the alerts or the active alerts will be over here as well. So just to show you that alert page as well, and how it's constructed. If I go to, these are all kind of out of the box type alerts that you get, and when you go to manage alerts in Orion, you have a kind of a construct of an alert. So let's take a virtual machine here with no heartbeat, for example. We can edit that alert, and I'll show you exactly how it's put together. So the alert properties here, we have a definition or kind of a description of it. We have the frequency of the alert, so it's kind of triggering every minute. We have the severity of the alert, and you can put in here a responsible team, might be the Virtualization Management team in this case, of course. Some of the trigger conditions that need to happen for this alert to be triggered. In this case, it's two triggers or two conditions must be met before the alert is triggered, and you can have multiple triggers set up. So that's designed to reduce the number of false alerts that you might be getting. You have reset conditions. You can have certain alerts going at different times of days, and importantly, then the trigger actions. So I can show you here how this alert could be sent, for example, into ServiceNow. Create a ServiceNow incident, or I can create a SolarWinds Service Desk incident, and I can do lots and lots of other activities. Because it's a virtual machine, we can actually take action using vMan. So these things here, like changing power on, power off, reboot, suspend, they can all be taken actions and automated as well. So we can automate processes and help organizations to save time and money and that type of stuff. Okay, so that's just a quick view, a whirlwind tour, as we said, of the world of SolarWinds and Dell Technologies. We do have an ITOM brochure which we can send out to you if you request it. This is the kind of front page here, so it talks around simplifying IT operations management with SolarWinds, and then it goes on to the pillars, a quick description of what we do in each of the pillars. It also shows all the products available within those, and the ones with the little grey tab are the SaaS-based offerings. All the other ones are license-based offerings available on either perpetual or subscription licenses. And then on the back page, we have typically the three ways that we engage with customers and our partners engage with customers. First thing is fix the problem. If you've got a very specific issue that you want addressed, we can pick one of the products here and offer a solution. Then you may want to look at consolidation and cost reduction, and take advantage of the single pane of glass platform like Orion, for example, and have multiple products interconnected. And then finally, you may want to look at IT operations management strategically with SolarWinds to provide you complete end-to-end monitoring, analysis, and management capability as well. Also as a customer, of course, you get lots of services. So you have the SolarWinds customer portal where you can go in and see all the licenses, very simple, easy to use, intuitive web interface. That can allow you to access the Success Center, which is over 20,000 technical documents and videos. And we also have SolarWinds Smart Start, which is a very popular service, which is basically the purchase of a number of hours to help you get up and running with the product. And SolarWinds time to value is measured in typically days and weeks as opposed to months and years. So typically we want to deploy and help customers deploy and get value very quickly from your investment. Also the SolarWinds Academy, which is one of the best training institutions in the industry, and you can have instructor-led classes, e-learning classes, and it's all free of charge if you're on current maintenance. It's also the home of the SolarWinds Certified Professional, so for any technical people out there who'd like to get SCP certified, which is one of the top 5 networking certifications in the world, you can get that. And of course, we've expanded that into database and some security products as well now. TWAC we've already mentioned. You can jump on there anytime and register. And of course, you have 3 levels of support from SolarWinds. Professional support is what you get with your licenses. If you want to have more enhanced services, you can have Premier support. And then for large organizations, we have our Premier Enterprise support as well. And of course, for our partners around the world, we have our partner portal for them to get information that they need to bring you the value very quickly as well. So with that, that was a very quick tour, as I say. SolarWinds has certain kind of key values that we like to talk about, and customers like easy to use, very scalable. You can start small and build it as you need it, and of course a very affordable solution there as well. You can have modular approach, you can have interconnected approaches, you can have full stack visibility for hybrid IT environments using the comprehensive ITOM portfolio which we outlined early on. So with that, thank you very much indeed for your time today. We do appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who joined. We do appreciate it. Evgeny, thank you for that in-depth demonstration of all of the capabilities we have for the Dell Technologies environments. And we do have many more webcasts planned for the remainder of this quarter and also right through to the end of the year. So stay tuned for that, and we'll hope to bring you more good content as we go forward. So with that, thank you very much indeed for your time. We do appreciate it, and have a good day, and we'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.